Merry Christmas. 'Twas the week before Christmas. 'Twas the day before term's end, and all through the school not a pupil was silent, no matter what rule. The children were busy with paper and paste. The mess that they made with it couldn't be faced. Mrs. Piper, half frantic and almost in tears, had just settled down to teach her Year 6 dears, when out on the yard there arose such a clatter, she sprang from her seat to see what was the matter. Away to the window she flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. From there on the yard stood Miss Smith and Year 7, watching snow fall slowly down from the heaven.
"Oh no," she exclaimed, "that means it's wet play. What a terrible idea on the last school day." She called for Miss Smith to assess the snowfall and promptly got hit in the face with a snowball. Miss Smith started laughing so much she fell down. Who knew what a fool and an absolute clown? At that exact moment, Mr. Robertson appeared, and all of the middle school promptly cheered. For here he was in his bright yellow high vis to sort out the problem, and this ridiculous 'tis. He told Year 5 and 6 to come out to play and to make the most of the fun on the last school day. Miss Smith, Mr. Winter, Mrs. Large, Mrs. Spencer, Mr. Fellows, Miss Moore, Miss Gott and Miss Webster. You need to come to the yard and be with your class to enjoy the last day, as this term's gone so fast.
The state they were in could lead to a riot. The teachers were sure, if allowed, they would try it. Teachers' nerves, how they jangled, their temples were throbbing. The rush of their breath sounded almost like sobbing.
Then along came Mrs. Stewart to save the day, but in fact all she did was join in with the play. The snowballs were flying here to and fro, everyone making the most of the beautiful white snow. While all this fun and calamity took place, the first school were busy enjoying their own space. Reception going bonkers with all the tinsel and glitter, whilst Year 1's excitement would give Santa the jitters.
Mr. Ingram was first to look at the snow and immediately said to Year 3, "Let's go." So outside they traipsed, wearing all winter hats. Team Ray and Team Tate appeared sharp after that. Now our competition Mr. Jordan could never pass up, so Year 4 arrived to take home the cup. He had them all building the biggest snowballs and piling them high against the yard walls.
Now aim and fire, Miss Tierney called to her army of elves. 90 arms raised and each brandished a snowball. Poor Year 3s didn't have a chance when snowballs rained down. Mr. Ingram's face swiftly changed into a big frown. He ran into school to get the Year 2 team, for he knew that Mrs. Collier was the snowball queen. Mrs. Hodgson and Mrs. O'Keefe were up for the fight, and they all headed out into the white.
Whilst all this was happening, Mrs. Watson was working hard in her office, drinking coffee and buying some paper and card. Her phone started ringing, and it was Miss Hall. Mr. Stirk had asked her to make the emergency call. These pupils are silly and the teachers are bonkers. Miss Telford and Mrs. Clunas are both playing conkers. Miss McConnell, well, don't get me started on that one. Her mind has now obviously totally gone.
Mrs. Watson put the phone down with a heavy sigh. She wasn't surprised. The end of term's nigh. Everyone's been pulling all-nighters since we came back. They were shattered, exhausted and expecting to crack. The lines on her face were hidden behind a mask, but it was plain to see she didn't feel up to the task. The look in her eye would have tamed a wild deer, but Mrs. Watson just smiled. Gosh, what a year! She pervaded the carnage and had prompted the call. She smiled once again and whispered, "Merry Christmas to all."